Hey guys, I'm Bound Sage here, and today I'm going to talk about some of the heroes talked about by Simon today. So, a few things to touch base on. Kits are not finalized, right? Another thing too is I want to say TLDR: all legendaries are useful, but not all are created equal. So, if you know, don't feel like you got stuck with someone. There definitely is a vibe of like just pick your favorite. I think that's still really good, a really good decision here. We still don't know the mechanics of the game. We don't know what the game is asking us to do. So picking your favorite is still a great thing. But obviously some people want to min-max. So today we're going to put our min-max cap one, right? I've been a big proponent of do what you want, but whatever. And for the alpha champions, I will be covering them very, very, very briefly. In the podcast, we cover them in greater detail, but I will give a quick synopsis just for the complete sake. But let's go ahead and get into it. So we start with Athena. So Athena's core is we get a 400 defense shield and reduces damage taken by allies that reduce damage inflicted to allies by 5% stacking. Really good, right? Whenever you have a shield and then some kind of damage negation, right, with either directly damage reduction like this is, or with defense up, they pair very, very nicely together. And we see this on a 4-turn cooldown. I imagine this book's down to a 3-turn. Very good, right? Classic shield, everybody. Works really well. And then we see with the ultimate that we are attacking everyone and then increase the damage of the next ultimate by 3% each time an ally is attacked under shield. And we get 40 divinity when attacked by an enemy. Pretty long cooldown as well. For Athena, you're really taking her for that shield and the damage reduction is really good. And we know the passive of these people, or the imprint rather, so we can deduce their passive. So Athena's imprint says, whenever this hero takes damage under a shield, do 30% chance to petrify. Well, that probably doubles to a 70% chance. So when you swing against Athena, there's also this chance to petrify. Pretty good, right? Especially, you're going to get that full turn cycle because when someone hits you, right, their turn meter is empty. So bada bing, bada boom, they're petrified for a full turn, right? Full, not that matters too much, but yeah. I think Athena is really good. And I think if you take her, it's perfectly fine, right? Good shielder. I think Heimdall's better. Obviously, Heimdall's really good. But you get the shield on a non-ultimate, which is kind of nice, easier to speed to. You don't have to bring initiative into the mix at all. But all in all, I would recommend this hero. Going on. So now we have Freya of the Valkyries. So here we have equalize an ally's turn meter equal to the highest turn meter, to the enemy with the highest turn meter. Then increase the turn meter of everyone by 20%. Then also permanently increases this healer's healing for 5%. This is dirty. This is nasty. You can have things where, I think of Clan Boss, you have your whole team set up to go before the boss. She goes at the end of the chain. Then your entire team takes another turn. Like, because it's right before his turn meter is almost full. And then you cut in front of him again. Very strong. Very, very strong. And it, I don't know if you keep looping that or not, but if you can, very, very good. Cannot be overstated how good this is. In arena, same thing. You can have her running very fast and then, cut in front of the enemy, right? Cool. And then another piece I want to talk about here is with the ultimate when it comes up. This ultimate is very, very, very good. You might not see it, but let me break it down for you. You have an attack up 50%, you have a crit damage 50%, you have an attack up, and you have a sharpen. If you do the calculation on this whole thing makes you do 3.5 times your normal damage if you are a Slayer. So, yeah, that's really good. And we see the imprint here, imprint on screen once again. It will be, when this hero inflicts a critical hit, heal for some initiative of this hero. I think this is probably an Isolde angle, right? Where we see Isolde's imprint, which will be on screen now. It used to be, kind of like a lesser version of it, but it condensed it to the hero. So I think that's what's going to happen here as well is, since we see the core amplifying healing, I imagine her passive probably reads, whenever any hero scores a critical hit, heal that hero to the initiative. The reason why is, unless her basic has healing, which it could, right? She's not healing in her kit. So I imagine her passive is probably the source of her healing. And then we see with the Isolde imprint, they turn these like team-wide heals more into like that person healing. So I think she is very, very strong, but very, very narrow. You are running 2 to 3 Slayers on your team if you're running her, and you are trying to kill whatever you're aiming at. So I don't recommend her, simply because of how narrow the team she wants to be in is. But those teams are, we're talking, she is a force multiplier. Over the course of a longer better, I think that she's going to be a clan boss kind of specialist as well, right? With bringing some spot healing. So next up, we have Metztli. And her core is she's removing disables from all allies and putting resistance up on each target. It's good. Very good. Right. Debuff cleansing is very strong. We don't have a lot at the rare level either. So if you end up with her, very, very good. And then we see with the ultimate, pick up everybody. And then restores each of their restored HP and increase their infinity. Do I recommend her? She's very good. She has that very conditional team-wide kind of cleanse, which is not easy to get to. I think the easiest one, there's always the Isolde with the ultimate if she stays the same, or with Ankh Ascended 5 or Awakened 5, which would be my preferred choice. That being said, though, she's good. But I don't think you really want these like big AoE revivers as your first champion. And that's the thing with these evokers is like this one and the last one, they're really good in the account. You're going to use them eventually, right? But I value the early game, right? The early to mid game, and that's not quite where this character is. This character is more of like this, like a mid to late game kind of kit. So, if you have her, great, right? She's going to do great for your account. She's going to be kind of sitting there waiting to do well in your account. And then later on, she'll pop off. But if you could pick someone else, I would, right? And someone else I would pick next on the list is Quetzalcoatl. We're not going to cover him that much, but he is a speed lead, and this is his kit. It's very, very strong. The arena will work out. Highly recommend Quetzalcoatl over the other two if you're looking for an invoker. This guy is very good. You can't go wrong with speed. Going next is Raw Slayer, right? We're gonna put on the meta cap. While Raw will be better the more Blaze characters that are introduced to the game, I don't think they're gonna be better than Raw for a while. So I would like to start with a Raw because that's the way I like to. I'm a very aggressive player. Look at the alpha. However, I don't think that you should be starting with a Slayer if you have a choice of a defender or an invoker. Just be aware, it's not bad if you do. Like, I want to start with a Raw because you have these really explosive starts to your account. But, in a month or two, you're going to be wishing you had Heimdall, right? Like, you're wishing you have Isis, right? Because, like, Raw can't carry your team through the really difficult stuff. So, I do recommend Wall, but I probably wouldn't take him over, like, a Quetzalcoatl or a defender, right? Like, your starters are good enough. So, let's keep going. Vivian. This character's good. Attack and defense up on all allies for 2 turns, and then increase the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. We know increase the duration of buffs is absolutely broken in these games. Maybe books down to a 4 turn. I mean, if it books down to a 3 turn, even better, right? Even on a 4 turn, I'm very happy with this. Very good. I can't, like, it's so good. And then this one here, I remove all debuffs from allies. So this makes her a good holder of the Athena shield, right? Because if there's an AoE debuff, she reflects it back and then can cleanse it. Maybe not on turn 1, but who knows? And then remove all debuffs on Avalon. But the big thing here is we have all allies attacking in. If the enemy's defeated, increase the turn amount of all allies by whatever. This Divinity Generator is big. She is putting 2 buffs on her core. That means everyone is getting, well, she is getting a buff like 480. Is that what that is? 480 Divinity every time she cores. So like this is a 3-turn cooldown. Very, very good. And we know from her imprint as well. From her imprint, we know that this is probably an AoE thing where she's going to give all of your heroes 10% increased damage to their basic and then double if they're joining in attacks, right? Kind of the same thing we talked about with these supports kind of narrowing in like team-wide passives. Probably the same thing, right? So 10% increased damage and then double if joining attack. So that means that this attack here, you're going to be probably doing 20% more damage, right? I think that makes sense. It's a big speculation, though. But just looking at how they changed the Solde here, I think that they're looking at these invokers with these team-wide effects and then probably pulling their imprints down. Next one is Anubis. Anubis is good. He works really well with other people that can kind of weaken the wave, and then he just kind of picks them off with the A1, despairing them. Very good. Nothing to say here. No notes. Very good brawler, right? So then we go to... This has to be wrong. I refuse to believe this is correct. If this is correct, especially it starts on a 4-turn cooldown, and there's like... If this goes down to a 3-turn cooldown, it's actually these numbers. Whew. That's a lot of damage. This has to be a typo. There's no way. If it is a typo, maybe this is the total attack of the... This is fine then, gaining 12 divinity most times, right? Because it's AoE 3 times hitter. Fine. But if this is... And then we attack and then does more damage equal to each defeated enemy. I don't know if this counts over the waves or not. Like, I don't know if this keeps track of the enemies you beat. Like, so if I beat 2 waves coming up to the bosses, let's do 80% more damage. Maybe, right? Maybe. Is that multiplier actually right? Because this character is kind of underwhelming, unless that multiplier is right. Unless her imprint doesn't give us any real insight on if that multiplier is real or not. Maybe she's just a raw damage dealer that just has this huge multiplier with no utility. If that's the case, she's a fan favorite from me. If that's not the case, she's bad. I would stay away from Artemis, right? Unlike Raw, where Raw, has this cool blaze mechanic and stuff. And until we can like, it has to be a typo, right? Like, there's a few typos in this presentation. I would stay away. I would stay away. Next on the docket, a Dracula. Dracula's our bleed guy with a big heavy hitter. I have a whole video on Dracula, right? I'll link it here if I remember. But yeah, doing bleeds, doing great. Can't go wrong with Drac. Very good. Not as strong as a defender or an invoker, but if you start with Drac, it's fine. You're doing alright. Now Hades here. We have Attack All, Place Despair. This is probably an AoE Despair. And also a Lock Ultimate under Curse. Man, an AoE CC. Keep talking to me. Right, this is pretty good, right? And then we have Attack All Enemies. The first attack will decrease the target's turn meter. Second attack will decrease the target's speed. And the third one will do a knit down under Curse. And then dealing damage under Curse. Okay, so I know he does show the actual passive here for a split second. A service turn plays curse on an enemy with the highest attack. If the enemy, when an enemy under curse is defeated, place curse 1 on a living enemy with the highest attack. Curse 2 cannot be dispelled or resisted. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. So knowing that as well, right? This locks ultimate for a turn under curse. Man, that's pretty good. Especially, I think of Morgan's thing, where it's a 50% chance to the Morgan imprint. There's a 50% chance to increase the duration of debuffs. Yeah, decreasing lock ultimate or increasing lock ultimate to a 2-turn cooldown lock ultimate is a very real thing. There might be bosses that are we know the daimyo is as written in the CC leak is immune to or is not immune to ultimate lock. So this could be an answer to buying you 2 turns against the daimyo fight. Cool stuff, man. I think honestly you can't go wrong with an AoE CC. But this probably books 100% cooldown for a CC. Sure, sign me up. So here we have Hell. Hell is not a champion. However, I do want to touch on one thing with Hell. We see that this cooldown, this ultimate divinity gauge, is massively reduced. Massively. We also see she gets divinity when placing curse. So her core will give her 200 divinity. Her ultimate, when she reses everyone, will give her 200 more divinity. With her passive being gaining a stacking attack thing, if that persists between waves, especially with her and Freya, you're looking at a lot of damage. So I think Hell is working better. She's bringing defense down on bosses as well. So she's going to help you with the waves. She's going to scale on the waves, and then against the boss, she'll have her defense down to really connect with that damage. I think that Hell is a pretty good Slayer. I think I put her about in the category of Raw. I think with Raw bringing the max HP damage, and then I think that Hell's going to work a lot more now with this like reviving to get your ultimate stacked up and then killing them. We also see that the daimyo has a mechanic where when his minions die, bad things happen to him. So against the daimyo, Hell's really good as well. So who knows? We have Isis. Isis is good. Isis good. Always has been, always will be. You'll never forget 142 and 148. Just the double Isis wave on 148, just stacking these men's. That is a 1, I believe. I don't remember. Never used her. She's good though. One of these invokers that more of the defensive minded. We've seen a lot of offensively minded invokers recently. A very defensively minded invoker. Defensive teams are going to want her. She's good. Right, next one. I have a full video on Loki. Link it here again. Same one with Drac in it. But all in all, PvP champion. I kind of recommend. Like it's not the end of the world if you get him. Like you're gonna find use for him. He is gonna have kind of this 1-turn disable. I think sleep is the weakest debuff in PvE, but in PvP, it's one of the strongest, doing extra damage. So, consider that, right? So we have Mulan here. Mulan's doing a decent hit, increased by 10% for each living enemy. So, I mean, that's looking at a pretty decent multiplier here. That's almost like 500% attack. Blazing Vanish then. So she kind of like keeps herself safe from being targeted. Interesting. Fine, right? We have this vanish here. And then we attack an enemy 3 times. Each hit does a 4% chance to put Drain and Hex on the target. And if it's defeated, decrease this hero's divinity cost by 10. Okay. Not too bad. This will bring it down to what, like 850? 870? Yeah. And she gains divinity whenever damaging an enemy. So, and then more she's under Vanish. Yeah, man. I mean, you'll cycle through this a lot. So it kind of makes up for being only a single target hitter because you're going to get your ultimate a lot. I think she's okay. Let's look at her imprint. See if that, I know her imprint being about Vanish. Increased chance to strong hit. So she is a cunning champion. Yeah, she's in between two cunnings. No Wukong's cunning. So maybe against, maybe a 20% chance to strong hit to strength. So it's like a 50% chance of strong hit. Okay. Got some multiplication happening here. Yeah, I think Mulan's a little lackluster, but bringing Drain and Hex, we saw how good this was on Shinigami. So I don't recommend her though. I think she's cool. She's tingling my like team building thing, but like in terms of just raw usability, I don't recommend Mulan. I don't think that she brings enough for generic progress. However, she will be fun to play with, right? I enjoy single target damage dealers, and this does hit pretty hard, and you'll be doing this quite often as well. Now we get to the trouble child. Where is he? Wukong. There he is. So Wukong was part of a CC leak. We know what this guy does. He gets divinity on his attack. Yeah, so we know that his A1, whenever he joins into an attack, he is going to get a ton of divinity. And you see here as well, he is going to give himself attack up. A decent multiplier with attack up is big, and then he does more damage for each buff, which is even bigger. So pretty decent hitting AoE. And then we go into the ultimate, which is stealing turn meter. Turn meter. So the ultimate of Wukong will steal your opponent's turn meter, which will mess them up on the turn front, kind of giving you more pseudo turns, and then in more turns compared to them, right? And then the basic will give you divinity, and then we also know that Wukong's imprint is absolutely busted. It is on the screen here, and we actually know what his actual ultimate is because it was a CC leak. It puts immortality on him for 1 turn and then gives him a 50% chance to join an ally attack. Really good. Very, very good. We saw how good the Dagonet imprint was. Wukong is probably the best Slayer to get if you're interested in a Slayer. Wukong is probably the best. And his imprint is probably one of the best as well, too. So if you could start with either one of them is kind of big. And if he even gets power crept, which he probably won't anytime soon, you just take his imprint and put it on someone else, right? So like he'll never become useless on your account. He'll always become an imprint, which would be timeless. So yeah, he's also Tian, which means Shishi will bring him in for an attack if Shishi's A1 is working in the main game, which it probably will be, which means you'll get more divinity from Wukong. So yeah, Wukong's good. Definitely good. Probably top Slayer. So here we have this is Cizin. So we see this is a pretty big hit, and we're putting Blaze 2 on the target. This is what I was saying with Raw. We're probably not going to see a replacement for Raw anytime soon, just because like this is just a 2-turn Blaze, right? And Raw does a 3-turn Blaze on a 100% chance. But this does do better damage. So, and then here on the ultimate, we see we're activating Blaze as an acid, and then add precision to this hero for 1 turn. Not sure what precision is, but gain divinity when inflicting damage to an enemy under Blaze or Acid. So Blaze is good, right? Because it says AoE. So every Blaze hit, this is gaining a lot of divinity, actually. Like 800 divinity per turn cycle is pretty good. Actually, yeah, right? Like this is gaining a lot of divinity. And then we know the imprint is controversial. Whenever an enemy receives damage from burn, also destroy their max HP by 4%. Lord have mercy if this is doubled for Cizin. 8%. 8% destroyed max HP with no cap. That's dangerous, right? That also... Whenever, yeah, I mean, and you could team this person up with Raw, while activating blazes. Man, that's spooky. This character seems really good. I doubt this is probably one of the kits that are going to change. I can't see this making into the game. It's way too strong. The numbers are way too tuned, like way too powerful. Especially this divinity generator as well. So I'd probably say expect this to be toned down. Especially this is powerful ability as well, right? This is probably, what did it say about the core? Powerful ability. The core is probably as well. Yeah, I wonder if this is one of the champions that maybe didn't make the list that he wasn't supposed to show. Because you get kind of, I guess this kind of gives us insight into like why he's not showing certain champions. It's like you can kind of see that their kit is like fleshed out, but probably doesn't have that like second look through yet of, you know, oh hey, yeah, we can't do this, right? Oh hey, they're ulting every other turn, and oh hey, they're gonna end the fight in 3 turns. Because if Cizin's max HP destroys 8%, that is 32% max HP destroyed every turn rotation with burn. That needs to be checked. That is not allowed in the game. So I imagine maybe Cizin should have been on Simon's list, but wasn't, not to show. Because, you know, just seeing the powerful ability here and seeing the imprint being strong. So I would say pretend you don't know what Cizin does and expect changes, I would say. All right, back to Grendel now. By back to Grendel, I mean, we're at Grendel here. So we see attack all enemies with a chance to place Despair for 1 turn. Okay, so we have a Brawler placing Despair on all enemies. This is not super unusual to see a Brawler place this because we have, I believe Percival was a Brawler in Alpha. Yes, Percival was a Brawler in Alpha. So, this kind of like the stun kind of thing, probably the next level up with Despair being a little bit stronger than a stun. So, and, actually doing a hit instead of just doing the stun, right? So yeah, this is very in line with what we see with like epic level brawlers. So that's not unusual. And then the ultimate, attack all enemies with a decent hit, then insta-killing them and gaining HP for each enemy destroyed. And then 40 divinity when inflicting damage on an enemy. This is a longer thing, but we do have an insta-kill mechanic with it. It's unconditional as well in terms of there's no RNG. It is just the condition of under max HP. Yeah, I think Grendel looks pretty good under this too. Kind of like... Yeah, I think Grendel would be a nice pick as well. They said not as good as an Evoker or a Defender, but I would not be upset. And we also know Grendel's imprint, so we can maybe infer the passive from it. For every 20 HP this hero is missing, increase their speed initiative by 5. So maybe that's every 10% of their HP missing, increase their speed initiative by 5. Okay. Lower HP they have, the faster they go. I feel like this is a character we really need to know the basic on to really make a judgment call. Because it depends what you're doing with that speed, right? Because like the other 2 hits, I think Grendel's good. I think Grendel's good, just with the Despair. Kind of like a pseudo disruptor. Yeah, I think Grendel's cool, right? Could do a lot worse. Heimdall. Yeah, Heimdall's Heimdall. Can't go wrong. Still does his stuff, man. And then, yeah, Heimdall's Heimdall. Can't like the premier defender, I would say. Athena's looking kind of good as well. I think the DR is better than defense down. And if it's on a 3-turn cooldown, the shield from Athena, you'll probably be able to shield more often. But, I mean, let's face it, AoE Retaliate is AoE Retaliate, right? He does offense and defense. Heimdall's better. But Athena's a close second if you can't get Heimdall. Moving on to the next one. Good old Herc. Yeah, Herc's Herc. Herc's doing good stuff. So, yeah, no surprise there. Doing AoE smacks. And then... we don't have King Arthur. We don't get Montezuma. Pazuzu. Okay. So Pazuzu's imprint is nuts, right? I'm sorry I'm only covering like certain imprints here, but we'd be here all day if I covered all of them. But is he gaining 10% turn meter whenever an enemy gains a buff? And then he's corrupting to steal those buffs so they never actually get placed in the first place. And then if their order place fear on the target for 1 turn, man, this and the Tower of Chaos, the one where you're fighting order people, right? Like whatever one you get to use chaos people in. I'm assuming he's chaos. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Attack enemies, each chance has a chance for vulnerable, acid, curse. Good combination. And then divinity when placing a debuff or disable. Yeah, I think Pazuzu's pretty strong. I think the imprint's really good as well. Like if you see the Pazuzu imprint, that's definitely one that you're interested in, especially if you're a PvP kind of guy. The Pazuzu imprint is pretty good. And if he has a better version of it in his passive, I hate to see it, man. It's kind of spooky. Okay, next we have Perun. Now Perun attacks all enemies with a probably 100% chance to decrease the turn meter by 20%. We don't see big turn meter decreases in this game. Whenever he decreases an enemy's turn meter, he increases his turn meter probably by 4%, right? Probably just doubling that. So, I mean, this takes away 20% of turn meter, gives you, 16% turn meter with a decent hit. Okay, I see you, Perun. I see you doing pretty good damage here. We also have some initiative scaling, which probably means his ultimate is pretty good. And yeah, that's 700 times attack. No initial. That's interesting. This is the first time we've seen no initial divinity. Each hit has a 35% chance to decrease the target's turn meter by 10%. Additional attacks against the same target reduce the turn meter by 5%. Remember, every time he decreases this turn meter, he is also increasing his own turn meter by 4%. So this is also a 24 turn meter thing. He gains divinity when placing a buff or disable on an enemy. Does he even, maybe his passive? Or maybe his basic does that? I'm not sure. I don't think this is a good divinity generator. I don't think he places any. There should probably be 10% every time he decreases target's turn meter. Maybe. But this guy looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And we also saw a good imprint for him would be the Camazot's imprint. Whenever he does a critical hit, steal turn meter. And then if it's strong, steal more. So that kind of goes in line with these, I'm just thinking of this one. You're gaining twice as much turn meter. Like you're gaining 50% turn meter when you do this, and you're also gaining 10% more turn meter when you're stealing it from the enemy. It's pretty good. You're getting 10% total from the enemy. You're stealing 2.5 from each of them. I think you do worse. Especially if his divinity generation is stealing turn meter, which I imagine it should be. And if it's not, I'm going to prediction Fateless. He doesn't have a divinity generator if you don't give him that, unless his basic puts a disable out, but it's only 10. Yeah, it has to be. This is probably just a typo. It has to be when turn meter down, right? Anyway, I think he's pretty good. I think you still take most Slayer or most invokers and disrupt, or most invokers and defenders after him. But I mean, as a Slayer, right, it's hard to go wrong with this turn meter reduction. So yeah, it's pretty good. I recommend. Next up, we know Ryujin. Shamash. So Shamash is really, really good. Very, very, very good. It cannot be overstated how good Shamash is. I think that he is among the top spots. I think he's right up there with Isis. I think he's right up there with Heimdall, because this core does so much damage. Like, all allies will join in with the attack. His A1 brings in someone as well. When you are doing speed farming in this game, Shamash will be on the fastest teams. There is no way he won't be, right? Like, I cannot see a world where Shamash is not on the fastest teams. He just does so much damage, especially if you have, you have AI to hold the core for the boss. I'm just picturing like one guy clears the first wave, one guy clears the second wave, and then Shamash comes in with the boss. You just core the boss, and then they just die. And then there's also the passive, the ultimate, where he like picks people up. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to talk about him too much, but like, Shamash cannot be overrated. I think that he is, just with the raw power he brings from day one, right? From turn one with this core. There's no setup like Freya. There's no waiting for the ultimate like Zeus and like Vivian. Like, the core all like pile on is really good. like I think Shamash is in the top 5 if you're actually like serious about the game. He is a force multiplier. You need some good people behind him. But yeah, I highly recommend Shamash. Very, very good. And last but certainly not least, we have this guy. Maybe he is least. Let me look. Attacks an enemy, so it's a 1-hit. Places a random defense down 2, attack down 2, accuracy down 2, or resist down 2 for 2 turns. Most of these, so defense down or attack down are good. Accuracy down is usually okay. Resistance down is something I want to know I'm doing before I go into the boss, if that makes sense. Right? So, yeah, I don't like this that much. Especially, this is kind of screaming boss to me. Attacks all enemies. Then probably books to a 50% chance to place lock core, lock passive on each target for 2 turns. Okay. And we see at the end, for whenever an enemy dies, he gets more initiative as well. So it helps with the scaling. Lock core is the real thing here. Yeah. Lock core is spooky. Like that I imagine that shuts down some fights as well. Like, I imagine if the bosses are not immune to lock core, which the daimyo wasn't, right? Like, from what we saw, the daimyo wasn't immune to lock core. Yeah. Like, could be good. Could be very good. As would I recommend him? I think this is a scenario where we don't know what the bosses do, where I don't know how impactful this lock core is. It's not guaranteed either, right? If this was a guaranteed lock core, I'd be singing a different tune right now, but it's not. So, like, I think he unfortunately has a case of, we don't know what lock he fits into. We don't know if it's going to be relevant content that we want to farm early. I probably don't recommend getting him. Yeah, and that's all of the heroes. So, if you made it through the end, subscribe, like, comment if you disagree with me, of course. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.